Hi, everybody. It's been the most beautiful July day. It is July 20th, 2026, and I've been posting these videos first to recover from the trauma of watching my little brother, Paul Kerrins, 64, with Down syndrome, be locked away by the government, the British Columbia New Democratic Party government, after I complained when I discovered a fraudulent and forged power of attorney they created to give him the COVID-19 shot. So they locked him away for 588 days, and then he had a stroke. And I believe that the person they appointed as his guardian, my then 84-year-old Catholic nun sister, 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, who had only met him a few times, who moved out when he was born, and who did not understand his speech or communication, had him euthanized. So when she found out that the RCMP police were going to investigate this fraudulent and forged power of attorney, she told the doctor who was caring for Paul when he had a stroke to remove all his medical supports, his ventilator, his oxygen mask, and to sedate him to death. And they did this right in front of me. So but I had already been complaining. I discovered I'm a former federal prosecutor and I practiced law for 23 years. And I discovered, or really, I had retired, but it came to my attention in 2021 that the government was euthanizing Canadians as medical care. So they were paying doctors using the universal health care to pay doctors to kill Canadians. And I'm almost 71. I just couldn't believe this. My background, my hobby is military history, and I researched the Holocaust and World War II, and my uncles fought in World War II. But I've been posting about this, and what I've noticed is that what I just wanted to mention quickly today is that I cannot, it's like I'm in some weird upside down world of racism. The thing you need to know, I was also trained as a psychologist, the thing you need to know that governments like the Canadian government will tweak holocausts and genocides, the people they target, to an identifiable group that they think nobody will care what happens to them. And in this case, what they've identified the group as being people of European descent like me. So I'm 100% of Irish descent. My father's family was from County Monaghan. My father was a dual Irish-Canadian citizen, and my grandfather could speak Irish. And on my mother's side, they were from County Mayo. But and Ireland had its own Holocaust with the Potato Famine in 1847, where 1 million Irish people starved to death and were lying in the ditches. Of an population of 8 million, 1 million starved to death and 3 million emigrated. And Ireland has never recovered its population from that time. It's only 7 million now. But when I post that the kinds of people that the government pays doctors to kill are 96% of European descent, Canadian-born citizens, like white, like me, people go, oh, well, I was interested till you said that. So they've identified a group of human beings that people think it's appropriate to kill, to execute extrajudicially, with no legal support whatsoever, with no second medical, they're not entitled to a second medical opinion. There's no legal safeguards whatsoever. And these people are killed. And then their bodies are harvested for organs, or they're cremated or buried. And their families have no say. The families are not allowed to intervene. All it takes is the signature of any two medical professionals, any old doctor, any old nurse. People, and the other area of specialty that I had when I was a psychologist is the dynamics of suicide and what leads to suicide. And part of it is poor self-worth or being a survivor of SA or of physical abuse. So it's just what I wanted to point out today is that all these comments on my posts that have said, oh, well, I cared until you said it was white people that they're euthanizing. And I'm quite sure I'd be willing to bet the farm that it is 100% Caucasians, white people of Canadian-born citizens of European descent, because I've never met any East Indian, Pakistani, African, or Chinese people that would be willing to watch their loved one be put down like a dog. I'm quite sure it's 100%, and that is a genocide. So remember, the government always tweaks genocide so you won't recognize. And other people have said the same thing. Oh, it's not a genocide because they recognize it. I mean, because they agree to it. These people, disabled people or despondent people, they agreed to it. We have no evidence of what their agreement was other than their signature on a piece of paper. There's not even a sworn affidavit. I had to do $60,000 or $60,000 to $100,000 worth of work to get people divorced when I was practicing law. It wasn't uncommon to have divorce bills that were $60,000 with many sworn affidavits. So I just remember, they will always tweak genocide. So you go, okay, in those circumstances, that's okay, because that's what the German people, Hitler started out by. He poisoned all the elderly, ill, disabled, and mentally ill people in Germany with carbon monoxide poisoning. And people thought, oh, well, they complained in 1941. He started in 1939, and the German people complained about it in 1941. They were told to drop off their children to be assessed, and then they would gas them. But what he did when the Germans started to complain is the doctors just switched to lethal injections, like what they're doing now. And when they put these people down in Canada, it's not pretty. One doctor told the family members who were attending a euthanization to hold down the patient because he woke up and he was fighting this. The drug they used to paralyze him wasn't working. It's a nightmare. Wake up. I wrote the Irish consulate yesterday a little letter asking to meet with them to talk about this practice in Canada, and they said no, they didn't get involved in Canadian affairs. And I thought, oh my God, that's exactly what everyone said to the Jewish people who were fleeing Europe. They said we don't get involved in the internal affairs. I was so disappointed. That was my, but then, Ireland's had its own bad PR with the Magdalene laundries, where single mothers were locked away with their babies and many babies were killed or died. So, but anyways, that's it for today. Remember, they will always tweak the genocide so you don't think it counts. But this is a genocide in Canada. I love you all. Please share this information far and wide because I think I'm being shadow banned. I love you all. Take care.